I am with Renee Lewis Glover, who is the founding and managing partner of the Catalyst Group. But also, I think even more astounding is you have a over 19-year history as the former CEO of the Atlanta Housing Authority. So I'm so happy to sit down and talk with you and meet with you. And can you tell me, Ms. Glover, a little bit about your connection to the Eastlake community?
Well, it's I think a great story in the sense that before I became the CEO of the Atlanta Housing Authority, I started out in New York as a corporate finance attorney.
Oh, I don't know this part.
Yes.
Okay.
And so growing up in Jacksonville, some of my parents' closest friends were civil rights lawyers. And so part of the reason that I went to law school is I was thinking I might become a civil rights lawyer. So when I went to law school, my second year of law school, I actually worked for legal aid.
Oh, I love legal aid.
Well, turns out I really loved the organization as well, and it turned out they were very helpful in the revitalization work. So I worked with the legal aid office in Boston and in Roxbury, where there were a lot of families who had few resources. And so I remember representing the families in housing court, and then sometimes they were having their utilities cut off and this, that, and the other. And the thing that struck me is that it was a revolving door of pretty much the same families. And the biggest issue was they didn't have enough money to pay their bills. Okay. So I had an aha moment. I said, what I really want to do is understand how the capital markets work and how you can build wealth, because I would love to help families and people who look like you and me be successful, because at the end of the day, that was the real problem. So I came down to Atlanta, joined Mike, and we built the firm Trotter Smith & Jacobs. And one night, I was at my office, and I get a call from Maynard Jackson, because I had called him. I said, I'm thinking about coming to Atlanta. He said, I want you to do something for me. And I said, Maynard, what is that? Because, Maynard Jackson, you just love. I mean, he was just a fabulous human.
I've heard great
just
stories.
Fabulous. So anyway, so he said, I want you to sit on the board of the Atlanta Housing Authority. So I had the opportunity to sit on the board, and what I witnessed was really heartbreaking.
Okay.
Because at that time, and that would have been in like 92, 93, all I saw was terrible human suffering and a lot of pain. And if you think about it, Atlanta, even with its rich civil rights heritage, had been failing some of its poor citizens. And so at that point in time, Atlanta had more public housing per capita than any other city in America.
In America.
Wow. And so it became very apparent with this concentration of public housing all over the city, by the way. And each community was more dangerous than the next. And so it caught my interest. I said, because there's something going on here that is really problematic. So around that time, Maynard had asked me to become chair of the board of the agency. And I said, well, in for penny, in for pound, right? So I did that.
Okay.
And At that point in time, Atlanta had been chosen to host the Centennial Olympic Games. And also at that time, Congress, because public housing was not only failing here in Atlanta, it was failing nationally.
Yes.
And so they formed a bipartisan commission to study deteriorated, distressed public housing. And so the finding was, because that was done in 2001, so they came out with their findings in 2003.
Okay.
And Barbara Mikulski from Maryland, who's just one of the most fabulous human beings you'd want to meet. And I got a chance to meet with her and work with her. They announced that public housing had failed this mission. That led to the Hope 6 program.
Okay.
And the reason that this was important is that public housing literally had been frozen in time because nobody really knew what to do. So this whole notion of creating a mixed-use, mixed-income community was really addressing a social justice issue, a human rights issue, and a civil rights issue. This was really bad stuff. So we worked very closely with HUD. We came up with the reform group and this, that, and the other, but that's what families wanted. And so we organized different committees. And so we had residents who worked on the relocation committee. I never forget seeing the communities, and especially the children who were just living in all of that horror. And, some people ask me, why did I stay for 19 years?
Yes, why did you stay for 19 years?
So that's a doggone good question. The reason that I stayed for the time was that it did not sit well in my heart that children were living in the kind of horror and destructive conditions that existed in all of the public housing throughout Atlanta. And even though people didn't understand the reasoning, it was important to me that it be done the right way and with fidelity, and making sure that no one fell through the cracks, because people deserve better than that. So it's really a human rights issue, it's a civil rights issue, and it was the right thing to do.
It has been such a pleasure to walk down and drive up and down from Atlanta to Washington with you. Renee Lewis Glover, I thank you for everything you have done for Atlanta, for Eastlake, and you continue to do with your advocacy for this very, very important work. Thank you so much.